Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re sabha.
Eshika diya, shabna diya, pirche neche gaur nitai. Eshika diya, shabna diya, pirche neche gaur nitai. Eshika diya, shabna diya, pirche neche gaur nitai. Eshika diya,
sabna diya, pirche neche gaur nitai.
Radha Krishna bol bol, bolo re shobhai.
Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re sabha.
Miche মায়ার বসে যাচ্ছো বেশে কাচ্ছ হাবুডুবু ভাই মিছে
মায়ার বসে যাচ্ছো
মিছে মায়ার বসে যাচ্ছো ভেসে কাচ্ছ হাবুডুবু ভাই
মিছে মায়ার বসে যাচ্ছো ভাই।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বল বল বলো রে শোভায়।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বল বল বলো রে শোভায়।
Give Krishna Das এ বিশ্বাস করলে তোমার দুঃখ নাই।
Give Krishna Das এ বিশ্বাস করলে তোমার দুঃখ নাই।
Give Krishna Das এ বিশ্বাস করলে তোমার দুঃখ নাই।
Give Krishna Das এ বিশ্বাস করলে তোমার দুঃখ নাই।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বল বল বলো রে শোভায়।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বল বল বলো রে সবাই।
কৃষ্ণ বলবে যাবে পুলক খাবে ঝরবে আঁখি বলি তাই।
কৃষ্ণ বলবে যাবে পুলক খাবে ঝরবে আঁখি বলি তাই।
কৃষ্ণ বলবে যাবে পুলক খাবে ঝরবে আঁখি বলি তাই।
কৃষ্ণ বলবে যাবে পুলক খাবে ঝরবে আঁখি বলি তাই।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বল বল বলো রে শোভায়।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বল বল বলো রে সবাই।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো সঙ্গে চলো এ মাত্র ভিকা চায়।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো সঙ্গে চলো এ মাত্র ভিক্ষা চায়।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো সঙ্গে চলো এ মাত্র ভিকা চায়।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো সঙ্গে চলো এই মাত্রা ভিক্ষা চায়।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো সঙ্গে চলো এ মাত্র ভিকা চায়।
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো সঙ্গে চলো এই মাত্রা ভিক্ষা চায়।
জয় সকল বিপদ ভক্তি বিনোদ বলেন যখন ও নাম গায়।
জয় সকল বিপদ ভক্তি বিনোদ বলে যখন ও নাম গায়
Radha Krishna bol bol bolo re shobhai.
রাধা কৃষ্ণ বলো রে সবাই
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajakaacharya Ashtottara Sata Shri Sriman His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai.
জয়
Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai.
জয়
ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.
জয়
Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai.
জয়
Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai.
জয়
Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyam Kund Radha Kund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai.
জয়
Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai.
জয়
Navadvip Mayapur Dham Ki Jai.
জয়
Ganga Mai Ki Jai.
জয়
Yamuna Mai Ki Jai.
জয়
Tulsi Devi Ki Jai.
জয়
Bhakti Devi Ki Jai.
জয়
Shramaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai.
জয়
Gaur Prem Anande.
হরি হরি বল
All glories to the assembled devotees.
হরে কৃষ্ণ
All glories to the assembled devotees.
হরে কৃষ্ণ
All glories to the assembled devotees.
হরে কৃষ্ণ
All glory to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Shami Tinamane Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirbishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Shashi Shekhar Prabhu,
Yes,
are you
Prabhu.
there?
Yes, Prabhu.
Can you read the translation?
I have to find another version. This one
Oh,
did
it's not
not
there?
have the translation. Didn't have.
Oh, okay.
Should I look
Usually
it
it's up there at the top that you can click on there. Oh, maybe it's not. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just look at it. You know Bengali. Okay.
Let me see.
Radha Krishna Bol Bol Bolore Shobhai.
Bol.
Chant Radha Krishna, right? Chant Radha Krishna.
Everybody.
Everybody chant Radha Krishna.
Goodbye.
Ikka diya shabna diya.
Yeah, I have it here if you want me to do the English.
Okay, good.
Okay. I have it. I'm not that advanced in
You
Bengal.
got saved.
Okay. Chant. Radha Krishna. Everyone chant. When Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda came dancing through Nadia, they gave these teachings. Chant. Radha Krishna. Everyone chant.
Yeah. So shikha here, just like we say shiksha. Shiksha means instructions. Yeah. So shikha diya. Shab all of Nadia. They went around giving this instruction. Go ahead.
You are caught up in a whirlpool of senseless action and are sinking lower and lower. Chant, Radha Krishna, everyone chant. If you just understand that the spirit soul is the eternal servant of Krishna, you will never have any more sorrows.
Yeah, Jeev Krishna Das, you understand that, you servant of Krishna. A Bishwas, your Bishwas means
Trust.
Huh?
Faith.
Yeah, you have faith in that, you're determined, you understand that. Yeah. Kore tuar dukkhanai, no more suffering, no more
sorrows.
Yeah, good. Go ahead.
Chant Hare Krishna and your eyes will fill with tears and your body will feel transcendental shivering. Chant, Radha Krishna, everyone chant. Simply chant Radha Krishna and join with us. Those are the only alms we beg.
Yeah.
Chant.
So Krishna bolo, sange chalo, come on with us. E matra bhikha. Bhikha means
charity.
Alms. Yeah, let's
Alms.
go begging. Alms. Bhikha in Bengali. Bhiksha in Sanskrit. Yeah. Bhikha in Bengali. Yeah. That's what we're begging you. Yeah, please go ahead.
All dangers will be gone when that name is chanted, says Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Chant, chant, Radha Krishna. Everyone chant.
Great, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
We're reading, studying, discussing Caitanya Charitamrita, Adi Lila 10th chapter. Now we're at text number 120.
মহাকৃপা পাত্র প্রভুর জগাই মাধাই পতিত পাবন নামের সাক্ষী দুই ভাই
Jagai and Madhai, the 89th and 90th branches of the tree, were the greatest recipients of Lord Chaitanya's mercy. These two brothers were the witnesses who proved that Lord Chaitanya was rightly named Patita Pavana, the deliverer of the fallen souls. Purport. In the Gaur Gunadesh Dipika 115, it is said that the two brothers Jagai and Madhai were formerly the doorkeepers named Jai and Bijai, who later became Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. Jagai and Madhai were born in respectable Brahmin families, but they adopted the professions of thieves and rogues and thus became implicated in all kinds of undesirable activities, especially women hunting, intoxication, and gambling. Later, by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Nityananda Prabhu, they were initiated, and they got the chance to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. As a result of chanting, both brothers became exalted devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The descendants of Madhai still exist, and they are respectable Brahmins. The tombs of these two brothers, Jagai and Madhai, are in a place known as Goshahata, or Madhai Tala Gram, which is situated about 1 mile south of Katwa. It is said that Sri Gopi Charan Das Babaji established a temple of Nitai Gaur at this place about 250 years ago. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamaikam Dadati Shapa Dantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Before speaking, I'd like to first offer my request the blessings and permission of my seniors who might be senior in age or advancement in Krishna consciousness or involvement in the Hare Krishna movement. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Jagai Madhai. So
Jagai Madhai.
Yes. So we read that they were born in respectable Brahmin families. Some places it's you can read that their names were Jagannath Rai and Madhavananda Rai. But I'm not sure about that. Is Rai, R-A-Y-A, ever a name that's used, or is it a title? What's that?
Isn't that R-O-Y Rai?
Well, in what I've read, it was R-A-Y-A, just like Ramananda Rai.
Yeah.
Raya, you say, yeah. So I don't know if that's a title or if it's used by Brahmins, because Ramananda Roy was not from a Brahmin background, although he was a topmost Brahmin, being a Vaishnav. But Mother Nilambari, did you get any, you were going to maybe do a little research on that or no?
Actually, RAY we use, Hare Krishna Prabhuji, sorry. Actually, we, what I have heard is all RAY, Rai.
Okay. And is that from a Brahmin background, or does it matter, or is it from a different background?
It doesn't matter.
Or it could be from any background.
Okay.
Okay, so that's interesting to know. Sometimes you read that. So let's this pastime of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda with Jagai Madhai, let's just briefly review that so we can keep it in our minds. One of the reasons, okay, yeah, who would like to summarize that pastime? Any volunteers?
I can do that if no one is.
Oh, this is Krishna Kirtan Prabhu. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna. So Jagai Madhai's pastime, right?
Yes.
So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Mahavadanyaya incarnation, is most merciful. To prove that his mercy is up to that level, as the age deteriorates, the Lord's mercy is also magnifies. So Lord Nityananda understood that this would be the best opportunity to prove Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mercy.
You're starting in the middle a little bit.
Should I go before? Okay.
Yeah, so, I mean, the first part would be Lord Chaitanya in Navadvip, this is in Navadvip, he ordered his followers, particularly Nityananda Prabhu Haridas, what did he ask them to do?
Yes, to go and preach and door to door.
Yeah, that's the beginning part. They wouldn't, if they weren't preaching door to door, we don't know if they would encounter Jagai Madhai. But because Lord Chaitanya asked them to go everywhere, Shikadiya Shabnadiya in Nadia, and ask people, Radha Krishna Bolo, Shange Chalo e Matra Bhika Chai. You go everywhere and you beg people to chant Hare Krishna. That was their alms. He didn't ask to get money or rice or anything else. He said, please. And they would go door to door and ask people to chant. And if they wouldn't, then they would get down on the ground, Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda and Haridas Thakur, and beg, please. Okay, that's the beginning part. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So I was setting the understanding this whole pastime is meant to glorify Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So when Nityananda and Haridas Thakur, by the direction instruction of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they approached door to door very humbly. It is said, Dante Trunadhari, means it's like putting a straw in between the teeth. They used to request everybody. Many times I meditate on how that is possible. How can we do that? So this way they approached, and one day they happened to see a disturbance going on, and these two personalities, Jagai and Madhai. So Lord Nityananda inquired about these two persons. So he learned that they are born actually in Brahmin family, but they become very miscreant. They're sinful.
How did that happen?
Association. And my understanding, because of coming in.
Yes.
So somehow that they came to bad association, they degraded and become. Once we degrade, we don't feel bad to commit any sinful activity for their own sense gratification. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, he says that one nija sukha lagi, for one's own sense satisfaction. Papa nahi dori. One does not have fear of doing sinful activities. Dayahina, one becomes dayahina, merciless and selfish. And Jagai Madhai have degraded themselves up to so much, they won't have any kind of mercy, a little bit also. So Lord Nityananda thought, why not we will deliver them? If we somehow or other bring them to Krishna consciousness, the whole world will see, wow, how these people, such degraded people, could transform their lives. We try in our movement also, and we can see that many people get inspired by seeing the transformation in many people. So when they attempted, Jagai and
Well, one thing to add there is that they said in that way, Lord Chaitanya's name will be especially glorified.
Yes.
If even these two rascals who are well known there in Nadia become purified and elevated. Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So when Lord Nityananda decided to approach, of course, Haridas Thakur was hesitating. I said, why you are doing? But Lord Nityananda is always intoxicated. He's Avaduta, always intoxicated in Krishna Prema. And he approached. When he approached, they've been chastised, and still Lord Nityananda begged, please chant Hare Krishna. So Madhai actually being disturbed by this preaching, hit Lord Nityananda's head with a pot of wine.
Okay, a couple of things. They approached him first time and they got chased. They were chased away by Jagannath. They were intoxicated at the time. They got chased. And then they reported to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that that was their system, that they would go preaching during the day and come and report to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard about them and he said, who are these people? Who are these people causing the disturbance? And so there was a discussion about it. And Lord Chaitanya was pleased. He could have said, no, don't go see them. They're trouble. They're messy. Don't go. But he didn't say that. So next day, as you said, they tried again with them. At this time, as you mentioned, Madhai took a pot and threw it. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So out of anger and frustration, this Madhai threw the pot and hit the head of Lord Nityananda, and the blood started pouring. Still, when this news was reported to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he could not tolerate. He immediately arrived at the place, and he said, those who hit Lord Nityananda, they will be immediately killed. But during that time, Madhai, even Jagai was hitting, Madhai was stopping actually.
No, the other way around. Madhai was hitting, and Jagai was stopping.
So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hitting, he said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu decided to kill by invoking Sudarshan Chakra. Lord Nityananda stopped and requested. He said, in fact, Jagai, help me. Jagai, help me, please do not kill him.
Yeah, because Madhai was going to hit him again.
Yeah.
And Jagai intervened. He said, stop, no, stop, don't do this. There's no, and seeing Lord Nityananda, he said, you might hit me, that's okay, but please chant the holy name. So Jagai, seeing this, was surprised and chastened, and he took shelter of Lord Nityananda after trying to stop Madhai. So Nityananda Prabhu then begged, as you were saying. Go ahead.
So by doing so, he developed Sikriti as well. By serving Lord Nityananda in this way, he developed the Sikriti, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu created Sikriti in
I have a question though, Krishna Kirtan Prabhu. Didn't Lord Chaitanya say, Trinada pi sunichena tarora pi sahishnuna amanina manadina kirtaniya sadahari. One should be humbler than a blade of grass, more tolerant than a tree. So what's Lord Chaitanya doing? I thought he was supposed to be tolerant. What's going on here? He doesn't sound like he's being very tolerant here.
Yeah.
What about
that's
that?
right. But he said Lord Chaitanya's instruction is for the self, not for the others. When we it is for our self-realization. If anything happens, we should be able to tolerate for yourself. But if any other devotee or the Lord's paraphernalia, anything happens, one should react by giving Hanuman as an example. So
Good. Yes. So for oneself, that instruction is for oneself being tolerant. But if a devotee is being attacked, not to be tolerant, right? But act like a lion in this case. Okay, go ahead.
yes. So in this way, Lord Nityananda requested Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saying that Patita Pavana Hetu Tava Avatar. So you have this incarnation, you have descended to deliver the fallen souls. If you consider this criteria as killing because they're miscreants, no one will be left over, because everyone is miscreant up to a certain degree in this Kali Yuga. So he requested first Jagai to forgive. Then Madhai also came and requested, took shelter. So in this way, both Jagai and Madhai was delivered, not only forgiven, but also was given, because he said, you have served Nityananda. To asking for Jagai, you served Nityananda. I bless you also in this Krishna Prema.
He gave a condition though.
From now onwards, you should not do anymore such things. Give
Stop
up
this nonsense.
Yeah.
Stop this nonsense. And if you do that, then I'll take care of you. Yeah.
And I heard that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually took all the sins which is piled up in Jagai Madhai. For some time, Lord Chaitanya's complexion also transformed up to some different complexion. I don't know, it's blackish or bluish, whatever it is, just to show that he has taken their sins and they will purified. And my interesting point is, many people come and they serve to Lord Chaitanya in this movement, but Jagai Madhai has the tombs, still being glorified, even though they have been so fallen, so still been glorified. It's because of mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya.
What about all the people that he offended?
You mean reactions?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the Shastra says. Shastra says that one should not see the past actions one in a saint. Once become saint, they should forgive. Devotional service.
Those who are engaged fully in devotional service. But then, wasn't it true that Jagai and Madhai, they were feeling very sad that they had committed all these, still, even though they had been forgiven by Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu, that they were feeling very unhappy still.
Guilt.
And so they were given an instruction by Lord Chaitanya. Remember that one was?
No.
Yeah, so he instructed them to build a bathing ghat. Madai ghat is there, a bathing ghat, so that so people would come to their, when they came, he would take care of them nicely and have them keep it very clean and allow them to bathe, and he would offer his respects to them and offer his ask for their forgiveness as well. One time, a devotee who was in the Hare Krishna movement, who had done some pretty nasty things, he asked me what he should do to get forgiveness from the Vaishnavas. And he said, if he goes to the people he's offended, they don't want to hear from me. They don't want to hear from me because, they still remember me as a bad, causing problem. So what should I do? So you know what I told him?
Build a ghat.
Build a bathing ghat. No, I didn't tell him that. But that was the idea is, in this case, the people were coming to Jagai Madai. He didn't go seek them out, but when they made the opportunity for them to come, then he asked for their forgiveness. Now, one interesting point, which is not mentioned by Srila Prabhupada, but which is mentioned in the Caitanya Bhagavat. In the Caitanya Bhagavat, even though Jagai Madai were doing all kinds of nefarious activities, apparently they didn't do it. They didn't offend a Vaishnav. How that worked out, I don't know. All these people were residents of Nadia, right? But somehow or other, all the people that they were causing trouble to were not Vaishnavas. But then when they offended Nityananda, that was the change things. Lord Chaitanya came with his secret weapon or his ultimate weapon, that chakra, ready to kill. And then he was, by the imploring of Nityananda Prabhu, he was reminded, as you said very nicely, that in Kali Yuga, if you're going to kill people like Jagai Madai, that's everybody. That's everybody. I see Mother Golokananda Priya has her hand up. Yes.
Yes, Prabhu, I have the same thing. I think you answered my question about there's so many, people who have joined the movement whom I know they have committed so many abominable activities within the movement, even after become devotee. And how can we help them, like Lord Chaitanya, send Lord Nityananda, and just to save the most fallen. And how can we help these people? Like you already answered part of it, So
Okay.
Could we just ignore these people and because they feel so embarrassed, and for them just to come within the association of devotee is very, very difficult. So personally, one-to-one basis, how can we help these people?
Was that your question?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in the Nectar devotion, there's a description about what to do if a person somehow deviates from devotional service and might engage in some. So it's recommended there. The only thing is to re-engage in devotional service. Now, based on what their offense might be, there may be some limitation or restriction on some kinds of association, but still, that's the thing. How can they engage in devotional service? And like now we're on Zoom. I don't think anybody's going to be restricted from Zoom, with even though they may not be even allowed to go to a temple, say, for some reason. So that's somehow Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda are doing some wonderful things that way. Well, a question I'll ask, and a follow-up to your question, is here, Srila Prabhupada cites the nefarious activities that are done by Jagai Madai. What were they? Woman hunting, which is illicit sex, intoxication. They were drunk at the time, gambling. Elsewhere, he says meat eating. And so I searched the data, the Veda base for Srila Prabhupada's books and stuff to see, did Srila Prabhupada say anything else other than these four activities? No, I didn't find that he said woman hunting, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating, those four things. Have you heard elsewhere other things? Anybody?
Well, these are the four activities which Prabhupada mentioned. One is does to oneself. But apart from that, giving trouble to others, that's another thing.
Oh yeah, he's thief. and thievery. Yes, you're right. They were thieves. See, thieves and rogues. Yeah, professions of thieves, right?
Harassing others, troubling.
Yeah.
Illicit sex can be in a different way. It can forcefully raping. Or those. There are many aspects of.
Yes. So, but there's an interesting point here that Srila Prabhupada doesn't say. I mean, he's certainly aware of there's being rape, there's murder, there's kidnapping, there all these other kinds of there's child abuse, child sex, all this stuff. They're not mentioned here in anywhere of Srila Prabhupada's description. If you study in Chaitanya Bhagavat, there's a line that says there no sin that they didn't commit. Srila Prabhupada doesn't mention that. He doesn't say that, and I'm sure he knows. But so then sometimes you'll find devotees saying that they were murderers, etc., etc. So what do you make of that?
Well, that's the nature of the sinful man. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, one does not hesitate to do any level of sin. Merciless, when you call merciless also, means you are giving trouble to others, but you don't realize how you're giving trouble to others so deeply.
Yeah, I just find it interesting that Srila Prabhupada doesn't. He's certainly aware of murder. He's certainly aware of kidnapping and other things, but he doesn't mention those things. And a lot of things he says, and when he's discussing Jagai Madhai, he says that at the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, there was one Jagai Madhai, but now there's thousands of Jagai Madhais who are being delivered by the movement of Lord Chaitanya. So if we take it that, I don't know if there's a lot of murderers or kidnappers or rapists, I don't know that. But at least these activities certainly have been purified or stopped by the movement of Lord Chaitanya, perhaps other ones too in certain circumstances. So that's an interesting point we find here. Do you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can share with our own lives. The way we grew up is if somebody you find is really consuming intoxication, so we in our eyes they are very untouchable. Like we never used to associate with them, very very far, and not only that. Especially human hunting or prostitution, that's completely condemned. My whole lifetime itself, I can tell. So yeah, in Vedic culture, those activities, even though you do smaller little bit or more, so it was condemned. Is now in this 20-30 years, I'm seeing this became a normal, it's acceptable kind of thing. But when we grew up, these are the things very very abominable.
Yes. And, there's also sayings like, once a thief, what do they say?
Always a thief.
Always a thief. Once a thief, always a thief. Or the people who says, they once became a drunkards, people who go to the 12-step program, they say, hello, my name is so-and-so, and I'm an alcoholic. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. These kinds of things. But and that might be true in the material sphere to a large extent, but here's proof that these people were involved in all kinds of intoxication, as you mentioned, women hunting, illicit sex, etc. But they were completely rectified by the mercy of getting the mercy of Lord Nityananda and Lord Chaitanya. So that's a very positive thing. Some people, politicians and others, they often worry about, the spread of intoxication. During the 80s and 90s, there's the worry about the crack cocaine epidemic. And in the 80s also, there was a worry about the crime epidemic. Srila Prabhupada, when he went to Chicago, he met with an administrator in the city of Chicago and the topic was crime, what to do about it, because there was a crime wave taking place in Chicago, and Prabhupada's program to address crime was to have big kirtans, public places, and distribute prasadam, to teach the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So that method is effective, has been effective, and the proof is Jagai Madhai. Deen heen jatta chilo, papa tapa jatta chilo, harinam udharilo, tar shakti Jagai Madhai. Now, if you want proof, what's your proof? What's your proof? You know, we're interested in proof. The proof is that people can be delivered here, Jagai Madhai, and so many Jagais and Madhais subsequently following Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda, and their devotees like Srila Prabhupada have been delivered. Very important.
I'm just thinking in what I observed. There's only a very few devotees who are in the mood of Lord Nityananda to save all the fallen. You know, most of us, we are just more interested with our own spiritual advancement.
Yeah. That's why I, at the beginning, I wanted to emphasize that it was Lord Chaitanya's order. It was Lord Chaitanya's order that they go out, and Haridas and Nityananda wouldn't have, or we don't know if they'd have come in contact with Jagai and Madhai if they hadn't been ordered like that. So when the person goes out for preaching, then we will meet Jagai Madhai, people like that, for sure. But that's Lord Chaitanya's order. That's pleasing to Lord Chaitanya. Other comments, questions, statements about this? Jagai Madhai. Jagai Madhai. Yes.
Jagai Madhai.
Yes, Jagai Madhai. Anybody else? Comments, questions? Okay.
Prabhuji.
One other question I had, and I can't, I don't know the answer to this. It's just a thought. You know that they started this kirtan in the streets and outside in Navadvip and in people's houses. And what did the Kazi do?
He broke the Mridanga. I mean, he stopped doing the Sankirtan.
Yeah, he forbid it. He made an edict that nobody can do this. You got to stop it. These Hindus are becoming a little bit rowdy. You know, they're getting excited. Stop this in kirtan. So why was the Kazi the one who was giving that order?
He was the head of the community.
He was the administrator.
Yeah.
He was the administrator of the area. So he was in charge of what was going on. So the question I have is, here you have these two rogues, Jagai Madhai, prior to their meeting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda. They're carrying on all these thieving activities. How come Chand Kazi didn't crack down on them? Do you follow the question? He's so worried about the Hindus chanting Hare Krishna, but then these Jagai Madhai were causing all this trouble, and apparently there was nothing that was going on. So what's the answer?
Oh, actually,
Go ahead.
This is different. I'm just thinking, why they keep on continuing the Sankirtan. Is that what your question?
No, my question was, so it seems like the Kazi had his hand on what was going on, and he wanted to make sure that no Hindus were chanting. We didn't want an upsurge of the Hindu religion. So he was in touch with what's going on pretty well, and he was punishing people who were out of line. But why didn't he punish Jagai Madhai? Do you follow?
Sometimes you people partner with them, and sometimes they stay away from them. Such kind of strong gundas also.
Okay, so perhaps he was paying off somebody. They were paying off somebody, or they knew somebody, or maybe it was that in the Hindu quarter, if people started becoming more religious, that's a problem. But if people, there's a lot of crime, who cares? That's just the bad area, so we're not going to worry about that. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that question. I just find it interesting that Jagai Madai, even though they're involved in thieving and rogues, they didn't get at least we don't see any information that they were dragged in front of Chandkazi like others were. In one place it says that they were supposed to go to get some review of their case, but they just didn't show up, which also happens. But if there's a serial killer, a murderer, a rapist in your town, you'd think that they would want to bring him to justice, no? So that's an open question. If the devotees would like to research that, if they can find any answer to that, or ask their other devotees or gurus or whatever, that would be good. That's an important question, I thought.
I'm saying in India, I think the Jagai Madai, they were very powerful people. They were rich also. They were very wealthy.
They came from a respectable background, yeah.
I think some people have some influence, even they committed so many, in India, when they committed so many
Oh,
simple
it doesn't
acts.
happen in America? It doesn't happen in America?
I don't know.
That happens in America as well, sure.
Yeah,
The
give
Jagai
bribe,
Madai had
you know.
Jagai Madai had good lawyers, so they could do whatever they want. Yeah, that's it. They paid off the good lawyers. Anyway, they had good lawyers, or barristers maybe. Anyway, I don't know the answer to that question. I just brought it up. Yeah, Dronacharya Prabhu has his hand.
I remember in one of the dramas we did in the beginning, it was written that they were kind of bad cops, or they were police officers.
Yeah, I read. I included that. I wrote the script. I included that because I read that somewhere, but it wasn't necessarily a bona fide source, so I can't say that's true. But that certainly happens. That certainly happens that people are, they're involved with, or they have connection with the police force. They can get away with stuff. In fact, there's many bad cops or some bad cops anyway. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Next verse. Jagai Madai. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Prabhu.
So Prabhu, you sometimes you ask why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reacted when Nityananda Prabhu got hurt? Why not before the other devotees were getting chastised or kind of when Jagai and Madai was hurting other devotees, so why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not bring the Sudarshan Chakra and try to kill Jagai Madai? So is it could be, I'm just trying to give the reference, could be in the 7th canto when we see Hiranyakasipu is also saying that Lord Vishnu is the, always favor to the demigods. And so is it Nityananda Prabhu is the intimate devotee of, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he is shouting, listening, when Nityananda Prabhu is getting hurt, since being intimate devotee, so he bring that Sudarshan Chakra and try to kill Jagai Madai.
So Lord Chaitanya only protects his intimate devotees, not regular devotees. That your question is, how come Lord Chaitanya didn't bring his chakra when other people were getting bothered by Jagai Madai? So anyway, I cited that it said that Jagai Madai, even though they were harassing people, they weren't Vaishnavas. Oh, that's something. So that's in Chaitanya Bhagavat says that Vrindavan Das Thakur. So even though they were causing trouble, they weren't the specific Vaishnavas. That's what's given. So it's not that Nityananda Prabhu, because he was intimate, but any Vaishnava that Lord Chaitanya will who is Lord Lord Chaitanya is Lord Krishna. Krishna says, I'll protect you. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tang sarva papebhyo mokshayashyami mas. I'll protect you. I'll try to give you shelter. Intimate or less intimate.
Okay.
That's my answer. Okay, next question.
All right. Thank you, Prabhuji.
গৌড়দেশ ভক্তের কইল সংক্ষেপ কথন অনন্ত চৈতন্য ভক্ত না যায় গণন.
I have given a brief description of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya in Bengal. Actually, his devotees are innumerable. So these are just what we've gone through are just the devotees of Bengal, which were a good number. So now what we'll see next.
নীলাচলে এইসব ভক্ত প্রভু সঙ্গে দুই স্থানে প্রভু সেবা কইল নানা রঙ্গে.
I have especially mentioned all these devotees because they accompanied Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Bengal and Orissa and served him in many ways. Purport. Most of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya lived in Bengal and Orissa. Thus, they are celebrated as Gaudiyas and Oriyas. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Oriyas?
Yes.
At present, however, by the grace of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his cult is being propagated all over the world. And it is most probable that in the future history of Lord Chaitanya's movement, Europeans, Americans, Canadians, Australians, South Americans, Asians, and people from all over the world will be celebrated as devotees of Lord Chaitanya. The International Society for Krishna Consciousness has already constructed a big temple at Mayapur, Navadvip, which is being visited by devotees from all parts of the world, as foretold by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and anticipated by Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Wow. Next.
কেবল নীলাচলে প্রভুর যে যে ভক্তগণ সংক্ষেপে করিয়ে কিছু সেই সব কথন.
Let me briefly describe some of the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri.
নীলাচলে প্রভু সঙ্গে যত ভক্তগণ সবার অধ্যক্ষ প্রভুর মর্ম দুইজন পরমানন্দ পুরী আর স্বরূপ দামোদর গদাধর জগদানন্দ শঙ্কর বক্রেশ্বর দামোদর পণ্ডিত ঠাকুর হরিদাস রঘুনাথ বৈদ্য আর রঘুনাথ দাস.
Among the devotees who accompanied the Lord in Jagannath Puri, two of them, Paramananda Puri and Swarup Damodar, were the heart and soul of the Lord. Among the other devotees were Gadadhar, Jagadananda, Shankara, Vakreshwara, Damodar Pandit, Thakur Haridas, Raghunath Vaidya, and Raghunath Das. Purport. The Chaitanya Bhagavat Antyakanda, chapter 5, states that Raghunath Vaidya came to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when the Lord was staying at Parnihati. He was a great devotee and had all good qualities. According to the Chaitanya Bhagavat, he was formerly Revati, the wife of Balaram. Anyone he glanced upon would immediately attain Krishna consciousness. He lived on the seashore at Jagannath Puri and compiled a book of the name Sthana Nirupana. So that's a powerful darshan, isn't it? You just glance and the person becomes Krishna conscious. Raghunath. So these are devotees that were primarily there in Puri, although some were also in Navadvip. Paramananda Puri,
Paramananda,
Paramananda,
Swarup Damodar,
Sarup
Swarup
Damodar,
Damodar,
Gadadhar,
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 Jagadananda,
Jagadananda,
Shankara,
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 Vakreshwara,
Vakreshwara,
Damodar Pandit,
Damodar Pandit,
Thakur Haridas,
Thakur Haridas,
Raghunath Vaidya,
Raghunath Vaidya,
and Raghunath Das.
Raghunath Das.
Raghunath Das is of the 6 Goswamis. He had the most association with Lord Chaitanya because he was staying in Puri for many years, whereas the other Goswamis, like Rupa Sanatan, they were deputed by Lord Chaitanya, at least if we're talking about physical association. They were deputed by Lord Chaitanya to go to Vrindavan. Next verse.
ইত্যাদিক পূর্বসঙ্গী বড় ভক্তগণ নীলাচলে রহি করে প্রভুর সেবন।
All these devotees were associates of the Lord from the very beginning, and when the Lord took up residence in Jagannath Puri, they remained there to serve him faithfully. So they were there before and they came. Yeah. Okay. Next.
আর যত ভক্তগণ গৌর দেশবাসী প্রত্যব্দে প্রভুরে দেখে নীলাচলে আসি।
All the devotees who resided in Bengal used to visit Jagannath Puri every year to see the Lord.
নীলাচলে প্রভু সহ প্রথম মিলন সেই ভক্তগণের এবে করিয়ে গণন।
Now, let me enumerate the devotees of Bengal who first came to see the Lord at Jagannath Puri. Okay. So there'll be many devotees now. We'll go into this category of devotees, all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya coming from Bengal to Puri. Thank you all. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. And
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
yes.
I just have a question. Could you please let us know who, I forgot who, Paramananda was?
Paramananda Puri.
Yeah.
He was a sannyasi disciple of Madhavendra Puri, I believe. But he came and associated and was associated with Lord Chaitanya in especially in Puri. They're Paramananda Puri, Swarup Damodar. They were the sannyasi associates of Lord Chaitanya, Damodar Pandit, those things.
Okay, thank you.
Paramananda Puri, yeah.
Yes.
Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Kripasindhavyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo
Vaishnavibhyo namo namaha.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Benki Jashrata.
Thank you very much,
Thank
Prabhu.
you.
Everyone.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.